Hello everyone, hi Instagram, and I hope that you all are having a great weekend. So today's topic is about menstrual health. It's about why women should take their health seriously. And I'll be joined by Urvi Gala, who is an amazing yoga trainer, and she keeps taking these workshops for women. Hi,
Hi, how are
how
you?
are you? I'm good, I'm good. How are you doing?
Great, great. Hi,
So,
everyone.
yes, hello everyone who's joined in. Hi Niranjan. And you're able to hear me clearly. There's no problem at all, right? With the sound, voice, perfect. So, guys, please feel free to ask your questions as we keep talking and as we keep addressing general issues which we have, been addressed with, and we'll try to cover as much as we can. But definitely, we are looking forward to your questions as well.
Yeah,
So, let's get started. And this topic is so important because it literally deals with half the human population, right? So, what's your take on women's health, and why women should take their health seriously? And to be very honest, why they should make their health the number one priority? Like this goes for all of us, including men. But what's your view on this?
yeah. So talking about like for everyone overall health, like health just does not mean staying fit physically, right? It's also
Of course.
about emotional stability and mental stability as well. Like you might look
Right.
fit from outside, but what is going within, no one knows. Like it all depends how good you feel from within, how confident you are. It also
Yes.
includes now, talking about women health, that is like extremely important. Of course, there are few factors which differs from males' health, like biological factor, the behavioral conditions, and a lot of other things. Like especially women should look after their reproductive system, gynecological issues like menopause, menses, birth control, endocrine
Yeah.
system, a lot of
True.
things. And the main thing is, you know what, like, especially for women, they do not keep their health as their priority. It's like they focus more on their family members, children, like not focus on their self at all. So the most important thing is that the first duty, be it women or men, but it should be your first duty is towards your own self. Like, अगर तुम ही fit नहीं हो तो कैसे, you'll focus on your goal or your careers or your family
True.
members, and everything like.
And I
So
think
it's
this is
like,
exactly what yoga talks about. So the
yeah,
first like duty of yoga is towards yourself because what you said is so right. Unless you are in great health, which means unless you are in great physical and mental health, you will not be able to take care of those around, you. And even if you are, even if you know that your health is suffering, you will not be truly happy in spite of making everybody else happy. So which
exactly.
ultimately boils down to the same thing.
Yeah, so
So,
true.
and how was your experience taking these workshops for, these girls and like what was your experience about that? Hi, Anushka.
Hi, Anushka.
Oh, she's a mutual friend, right? You also know Anushka, do you?
Yeah, school friend.
Okay. Yeah,
The
great.
workshop was amazing. Like, we focus a lot on, how to maintain your health. It's not just during periods, but, the whole month, like focusing on your diet, your exercise, be it yoga or any form of workout. Like, you go, even just go for a walk, like, be it 45 minutes, but give that time to yourself. Like, it's extremely important.
Yes.
And talking about menstrual health or the hygiene, it also includes, like, a lot of women wear cloths. So, of course, that's like something which should be avoided. But if you're wearing them, go for cotton cloths. And
And I think replacing it, not like there's no ideal time for it. I mean, you can't really give a like general number of hours to everybody, but I think you need to be very mindful about how often you're changing it. That's also one important thing of menstrual health. So that's pertaining to that. And that's a good point that you mentioned, resting and the entire focus should not only be on those 3 or 4 days, but I think throughout the month you need to be mindful of what you are eating and, whether you are exercising enough. So it can be yoga or anything as you said. So now let's talk to something like about something very important, and that is stress. Okay,
oh,
which be it a school kid, Be it, a teenager, be it anybody, office goer or somebody who's middle-aged, an elderly person. I mean, we all have our own share of stress and tensions. So how
Yeah.
does stress affect our hormonal system, and how does an imbalance in that hormonal system leads to a lot of these issues? So how is all, interconnected?
So stress is like one of the biggest factors for be it anyone, like male or female. It's affecting you in somewhere or the other. Maybe you don't know right now, but inside it is. So there's this
True.
one thing, like if you take stress, the brain gets a signal, okay? It sends a signal to the adrenal glands where it asks the gland to produce more of cortisol hormones, which is also known as stress hormone. So,
Yes.
and once the cortisol enters the bloodstream, the RBCs and the WBCs settle down. Now, RBC is the hemoglobin, and WBC is like something which fights, against all the infections. Like,
So that's immunity,
now,
yes, right.
yeah. So once if they are settling down, the immunity system of the body is going for a toss. Now, if the immunity system is going for a toss, there's
A
like
lot of
opening up,
problems coming on.
yeah, like invitation to a lot of diseases, not just like specific to one, but for anything, be it anxiety, depression. Now, this leads to hormonal imbalance. Hormonal imbalance, like since we are talking about menstrual hygiene, so it leads to irregular periods, maybe shorter cycle, longer cycle,
Or I think
maybe
painful periods, even
yeah,
painful periods. I mean, although everything else seems okay, but being in that much of discomfort is not very cool because it's something you go through every month. So
yeah,
it's not something which you can ignore. And since we're talking about the hormonal, issues here, so stress, I think the biggest problem here is that it's going to interfere with your estrogen and progesterone,
yeah.
which will somehow either delay your periods, it will make you anxious, it will, like even if you're having your periods, it will hardly last for a day, and again, that's a problem. So,
And I think, as you said, it even interferes with your sleep pattern. So that's going to interfere with your resting, and you will not feel fresh because, of course, you're not sleeping well. And then you have other things such as menstrual cramps and lower back pain and a ton,
Yeah,
like, of course, these usually happen during the 3 to 4 days of periods, or they can happen before your period actually starts. So the misconception which a lot of people have is that the symptoms which you have during your periods are very different. They can be very different from the actual PMS that you are experiencing, which is, the word itself says premenstrual, which means that it starts around a week before, usually a week before, a week to 10 days prior to your actual like period starting. So I think that's also very important, because you can have different symptoms during your periods, and you can have different symptoms even before that. So there's, and as we know that every woman is going to experience something different, so it's not the same for everybody, right?
yeah.
So that is about stress. And what role would yoga play in such a situation? Like, of course, lifestyle and diet is one, but
Yeah.
yoga, asana,
I,
and the
I
pranayama.
want to mention something about PMS.
Yes.
Uh, is my voice like
A little. I think I should use the earplug. So just give me a moment. Okay, I think that would give us better clarity. Because I don't know why my Bluetooth is not functioning. So I think that was the problem actually. I realized that your voice is not being heard through that. Okay, so here I am. Okay, tell me.
better?
Yes, it's better. Now
Yeah,
is the
this is
voice better
perfect.
for you?
Yeah, it's perfect now.
Okay,
Okay.
tell me.
So talking about PMS, like there's also one term called as PMDD. Now,
Yes.
PMS is premenstrual syndrome, which means before periods, not even during periods or after periods. Like syndromes such as moodiness, feeling very low, anxiety, fatigue, bloating. All such things
Yes,
are you
yes.
experience maybe like within before 1 week or few days before you get your periods. And when you have menstrual cramps or lower back pain, which is during the period, is not which is it's not called PMS. And PMS is something which you can look after yourself. Like you can take care, with the like it's in your control. Like start
Yes.
exercising, like look after your diet. But PMDD is like premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So this is like an extreme case of PMS. So here, there's like
Yes.
extreme, like severe case of PMSing, like anger, irritability, not getting out of the bed, like very lethargic, like cannot do anything. Like anxiety leads to
Yes.
depression. It's that severe. So then here it's like you need to go for a professional help, like go to a doctor, proper
True.
consultancy. That can only help. Like a lot of girls are
So,
unaware about this.
aware, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. That so many people are not even aware of it. So,
Yeah.
whatever symptoms you have, you just accept that, okay, I'm just PMSing, and you spend like those few days, even before your periods begin, in a lot of tension and a lot of moodiness. But, guys, please take this seriously because a lot of women do suffer from it. And now, the question would be like, how do we actually differentiate between PMS and PMDD? So it depends upon the intensity of your symptoms. So it's probably the
Yeah.
same things. You're feeling anger, you're feeling, uneasy, you're feeling the urge to cry.
Irritability.
Probably, yes, irritability. You want to cry out, like you want to feel like you're feeling a lot of, as you said, anxiety. So the only difference is that your condition is going to be a lot more severe, and in that case you might need some medication as well. So
Yeah.
usually what, yeah, so the usual medications is they actually give you serotonin medicines so that your
Yeah.
hormonal, like whatever hormonal issues are sorted out. But please take it seriously. If you feel that, okay, this is not something, I should not be feeling this way, then please consult a doctor or please consult your gynec in that case, and they'll be able to guide you properly. So
Yeah.
it's good that you mentioned this because so many people are unaware of this, and it's important
Yeah.
that people know. So coming back to yoga and the pranayams actually, because I think pranayams are much more helpful with your anxiety, with your stress. So let's talk about asanas first. And what asanas would you recommend somebody to be done throughout the month? Okay, guys. So whatever we are talking right now is about what you can do throughout the month and not just those 3-4 days.
Yeah. So talking about asanas, like I'm going to mention which are going to focus a lot on your pelvic area and the abdomen area. Asanas such as Bhadrasana, like a nice stretch to the groin area. Um, lying down on your abdomen, Bhujangasana, Shalabhasana, or Dhanurasana. All such where there's a compression and like
Yes.
it's like gives like an internal massage to the reproductive organs, like all the organs in your pelvic area. So this leads to increase in the blood circulation or like an improvement. And when there is like a good amount of blood circulation to the ovaries or the uterus, it is then
Yes.
when you can actually maintain your hormonal balance also and slowly get rid of if you have menstrual cramps or irregular periods or even maybe PCOS. In fact, you can
Yes, I
actually
was, yeah, we are going to address that towards the end. Yeah, PCOS
yeah.
and PCOD. So, in my personal
And
opinion, just to interrupt, and like I agree with you totally because I think, in my opinion, all the backward bending asanas and asanas which focus on your groin. So, as we know them as hip openers. So hip
yeah.
openers and backward bending asanas are extremely useful. Firstly, as you said, for the blood circulation, and I think a lot of women also suffer from lower back discomfort. So
Yeah.
I think that is why backward bending asanas will actually help you ease out on all of those discomforts which you experience either for PMS or during your periods. Yes, and continue.
And one more asana which I would like to say is Sarvangasana. Like, of course, not during periods. It's where you raise your leg up. So during like the whole month, you should practice this. It is something where the blood is flowing the other way around. So it's like directly going to the uterus. So this is
True.
like really helpful for girls, like women.
Right. And then coming back to pranayams.
Pranayams, yeah. Pranayams, like there are a lot of pranayams which are of course going to help you to calm you down, but there are a few specific which I would love to mention. Like one is Brahmari. So where you take a deep inhalation and while exhaling you make a humming sound. So that humming sound, it creates a vibration within you, like in your body. You can feel it, and it's such a like nice soothing effect on your body and your mind, your nervous system.
True.
it helps you, in relaxing levels. So I think this is one, and the other one is abdominal breathing, pranayam 4. This is
Yes.
extremely beneficial, like of course for relaxation and calming you down, and at the same time, improving the blood circulation in your pelvic area. Since if you are doing it like in the proper position,
Yes.
like lying down,
True.
so yeah,
Yes, and I
these are the
think
two
the
which I would
fact
recommend.
that we are engaging our abdominal muscles, which we generally don't use. So it's funny how abdominal breathing also helps you strengthen your core because you are engaging those muscles. So generally, what we do is we are going for deep, like we're going for shallow breathing, and we never go for deep breathing.
Yeah,
And let's just people who are watching us right now, let's just make them experience it because this is very
yeah,
simple. And I want you all to feel, in fact we both want you all to feel how wonderful the experience is. So what you do is, wherever you are right now, even if you're sitting on a chair, sofa, anywhere, just make sure that you keep your back straight. And let's do it in sitting. You can also do it in the lying down posture. So you just sit with your back straight. You can sit with your legs folded, stretched out, depends upon what you are comfortable with. And you will place your one hand on your abdominal area. That is just to get your awareness there. Okay, do not press your belly, like keep it very gently, right? And when you inhale, your abdomen should rise out, and when you exhale, your abdomen should come in. So let's practice it together. I'm placing my one hand on my belly. Okay, Urvi, you also do it along with me, and we'll
yeah,
close our eyes. Okay, everybody, close your eyes. Unless you feel uneasy, in that case, you can keep your eyes open. You will take a deep breath in, inhale, slowly exhale, and breathe out. One more time, inhale, feel the movement of your belly. Exhaling, you will push your belly in. Inhale slowly and exhale slowly. Inhaling and exhaling, let your belly go back in. Okay, slowly and gently open your eyes and release your hand. Okay, we could do this for probably the next 1 hour, but we'll not do that. Okay, so
yeah.
this was just to make you experience that how your breath actually helps in calming you down. So every time you feel anxious, every time you feel stressed, even if it's not related to your PMS or menses, just do it.
Yeah.
Okay, and
And
of
one more
course,
point. So this also actually helps in making you aware that how your breathing pattern is. A lot of people while inhaling think that their stomach goes in,
yes.
which is completely wrong. Like this actually tells them that what is the correct way of breathing. So
True,
yeah,
true. It's funny that I've had arguments, like not arguments, but I have had these discussions with my students wherein they were trying to explain to me that no, it's supposed to be other way around, and I'm like, no, it's not supposed to be the other way around. So I had to literally explain them that okay, when you're inhaling, the lungs expand, so there's more
yeah,
space which is needed, which is why the belly will come out. When you're exhaling, it has to be contracted. So I literally had to take a little biology class there. Okay, but
yeah.
it's
Same.
fine
Like
as
I'll
long
give
as
them.
people are doing it well. I don't mind.
Yeah, I'll give them an example of a balloon. Like if you're blowing in air, it's going to blow it out, right?
True.
So yeah.
Yes, so that is it. And guys, please, you can practice pranayams even during your periods, okay?
In
So, in
fact, you should
fact,
focus on
yes,
practicing pranayama.
right. So, if you are a yoga practitioner and who constantly feels, this duality of whether we should practice asanas during periods or we should not practice, because this is one question which keeps coming to us. And I think your students have
Yeah,
also asked you this. And
yeah,
there's nothing wrong with this question. Of course, it's a very sensible question.
yeah,
But my answer to that would be that please see how comfortable you are physically and mentally both. So if you feel that your body is all right, you don't feel tired, there's no physical discomfort, then go for it. And or we just tell what people should avoid during their menses.
yeah. So one thing which they can practice during menses is like I think there are three, like variations to it. Like few people are like few girls are completely comfortable. Like they don't even realize that they've got their cramps, like their periods, and it just goes by
They are
smoothly.
the fortunate breed.
So they can practice according to their own capacity, whatever they want to. Now, few people, there is discomfort, but there's not. So they can do like light stretches, like maybe cat and cow or bhadrasan, like whatever makes them feel good.
True.
And there are girls where they cannot even get out of the bed. There's a lot of discomfort, which is completely understandable. So you need to rest, like for those 2-3 days. If you cannot do anything, it's all right. Like just relax, rest your body for that time. And what you should avoid is, of course, inversions and where you raise your legs up, like
Yes.
completely avoid that during periods because you don't want the blood to rush down, like go back again to the
Yeah, that's reverse direction. Yeah.
yeah,
So any
exactly.
practitioners who doing halasan or sarvangasan or
Yeah,
shirshasan,
or headstand,
3 days you don't do it. Okay. Otherwise you can practice whatever you want. Now
yeah,
there was this one question my friend had asked me once, and she's a yoga practitioner. Okay, and it's interesting because what she said is she's a practitioner of yoga for the past few years, and there's no like severe discomfort which she feels. So of course there's a little cramping here and there, but should we practice surya namaskars during periods? Okay,
so it
and yeah,
depends.
go for it.
Yeah, it depends from person to person. In fact, I was just going to add one more point. So it's your own body. You know whether it's a good pain or bad pain. What is the capacity of your own body? So it depends from
True.
individual to individual. So accordingly, listen to your body. If it's a bad pain, then come back. Like take a one step prior and stay there where you get a good stretch. Like be there and then go for like further advanced practices. Yeah, that's what I think. It
Yes,
depends
and
from individual to
true.
individual.
And apart from that, also with Surya Namaskars, depends because if you're going for the basic Surya Namaskar, go for it. Because there's not much of abdominal compression. To be
Yeah.
honest, if you're a practitioner, you will realize that the 12 step Surya Namaskars is not really that intense. So we're not talking about beginners here, we're talking about advanced yoga like practitioners and who are women, of course, and should they be doing it? So if you're a beginner, then don't start with surya namaskars directly during your periods because it's rigorous. So we're not denying that they are rigorous and strenuous, but what we are saying is at least stick to that 12 step wala surya namaskar every time you want to practice, and don't go for the advanced like vinyasa and you're adding all the
Yeah.
variations, you're doing veerbhadrasans, you're doing all of other things, you're jumping around. Like you can
Yeah.
avoid doing that at
Avoid
least
completely.
for the 3 days, because this has been my problem because I literally feel like I'm like not practicing enough for 3 days, and then I'm like, what if I, like the fourth day, of course, you don't really feel that your body is not flexible enough. So because three
Yeah.
days you've rested. So in that case, just for 3 days, calm yourself down and focus on other things rather than doing all of this jumping and
Yeah.
all
All
of these
relaxation
variations.
techniques like pranayam, shavasana, like a lot of techniques. So
Yes, and
focus
as a
on that.
beginner, yes, as a beginner, start with practicing more during like the rest of the month, and then
Yeah.
see how comfortable you are because your body takes time to get used to it. So for somebody who's been practicing for like a few years, may not even find anything different. But if you're a beginner, then give yourself that time to adjust. Give your body that time to adjust to your practice, and then you will understand yourself. So the ones who are watching us right now, if you all have any questions, please ask us.
Yeah.
And the next thing I had to ask you is the role of diet and lifestyle in general. So first, let's address diet here.
Diet, I think, is like a biggest factor for everyone. Like not just talking about menses, but example, chalo, if you're having junk food, okay, it's going to satisfy your taste buds. Like for
Truly.
some time, you will feel nice and all, but after some time, it's like you feel so lazy, lethargic. You don't have the energy. Like you just want to sit down and just lie down and do nothing. That's
Yes.
what how it affects. Like at the same time, it also affects you internally. And on the other side, when you have healthy food, you feel light, energetic, not lazy or something like that. Like you are ready to, just go and start working immediately, something like that. So I
Yes.
think that plays like a big, big role in everyone's life. And talking about periods, of course, you should focus on diet. Like avoid maida, of course, like pizza, pasta, and all. I'm not saying completely avoid, but you can like, limit yourself, like maybe once in 10 days or whatever
Yes,
suits you.
yes. And also
Yeah,
the fact that a lot of times during your periods you will feel bloated, like you will feel some
yeah,
discomfort in your abdominal area. So it need
true.
not be it need not be menstrual cramps as such, but you will feel that there is something happening inside your belly. So in
Yeah,
that case, the last thing you want to do is have certain foods and then increase that, a heaviness or increase that bloating wala feeling, because it's very irritating. So you don't want that in your life ever, right? So don't add on to it. So if you're eating something excessively spicy, there's a possibility that you will feel, even worse. So anyway, like just for 3 days, try having more of like liquids, because that
yeah.
really helps. That will keep you hydrated, of course, and not just water, but I think juices or just liquids in general, dal or anything, soups, anything that you like. So yes. And anything more you would suggest people to eat?
And generally, like, not just during periods, but overall during the month, like, intake of high fiber, food or fruits which have, red in color. Like, of course, we women need iron,
Yeah.
so we have to focus on it. Like, be like
Yes, you're
anything,
losing a lot of iron. Yes.
yeah, beetroot. There are a lot of options, like, so yeah, that's about it. High protein and
So,
all, basic.
so I think this is what we all know. So there's nothing new
Yeah,
to this. Is everything theoretically we've read, we've known for a while, but it's just that how we apply it to our life. And the next thing I want to bring up is the importance of physical exercise or yoga or anything, like it can be dance or any physical activity for teenage girls. And I cannot stress how important it is. I'm not saying that boys don't need it or they should not play or they should not, do yoga. I'm not saying it. What I'm
it's
saying is
overall.
that yes, like I think for women it has to be a compulsory thing, and probably even schools should stress on that factor, because that's the time when all of, like, of course that's usually the time when your periods do start. And for women to actually cope up with that, not only physically but also mentally, so I think
Yeah.
yoga will definitely help, and so will any other, fitness regime or any other physical exercise. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, so be it anything, as I said in the beginning, like just go for a walk or anything. At least give 45 minutes to your own self, like, yoga, gymming, anything, as you said, dancing, take up anything. It's something which makes you feel light. It actually helps you not thinking about anything else what is happening around. This is like your own me time, focusing on yourself.
Yes,
And
yes.
I've also read this that it helps you in releasing happy hormones like serotonin,
Oh, yes.
oxytocin. So it's helping you to balance your hormonal imbalance at the same time. So why not?
Yes, because it's funny that for a lot of these issues, there's no medication as such which is available. So even as I said, we'll be addressing PCOD, PCOS towards the end. A lot of these medications is basically they're just giving you hormonal supplements. So it's
Yeah,
very similar to the birth controls that you have.
yeah,
So ultimately, what is going to be your like sustainable option is to focus on your lifestyle and your eating habits and your workout and your sleep pattern and how you are dealing with your stress. So I think ultimately it boils down to the same thing which I think I have been repeating in all my videos till now, is that look at your health from a holistic point of view.
yeah,
So when I'm talking about teenage girls, I mean, please don't obsess over your, body shape or size, and realize that how you feel is much more important, and it is always going to be much more important no matter how old you grow. So I think that is one important thing. And probably schools can take up this initiative seriously, like not right now because everything is shut, but
yeah.
once everything comes back to a little normal,
Yeah, like
routine.
give them options, whatever girls or boys, whatever they want to take up. Like don't force them, it's only one, only this. Like whatever hobby they want to take up. I'm sure a lot of schools have like their own teams and all, so they can go for
Yes.
basketball or swimming or anything, whatever. But they should force on, stressing it a lot. Like you should take up something, have something physical, like a physical activity in your daily life.
That's very true, because I think that's the best time to create habits. because it's so easier to get these kids to, play or do something, because once you become an adult, I think we have so many excuses of like we don't have time and we have to work, we have to study. So I think any parent watching this, please make sure that you are not forcing your kid, of course, but just see what your kid likes, and recreation plays a very big role. So we're looking at PMS, we're looking at all of these things from various angles and not only like one thing. And of course, if your symptoms are severe, as we mentioned earlier, then you need to go to a gynec and have conversations about this, and do not like take it lightly. So if you feel that for 3 days you are in a very bad space, then please do something about it rather than just
Yeah.
suffering it
Not
in
ignore
silence.
it. Yeah.
Yes, I think that is also one thing that people just like, women tend to like suppress it a lot, and that
Yeah.
should not be done. And that is the very reason I'm having you here, because you've been doing some great work in this topic.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
the
that's the main
last,
thing. Like,
yeah,
be towards
yeah,
yourself. Like, that's the first thing you have to keep in mind.
perfect. I think that statement has to be like written everywhere, like just engraved in your brain. So any last thing like about this topic which you would want to tell everybody who's listening to us?
I think, just take overall care of your health, not just physically, looking beautiful from outside, oh, you're thin and all. That's not what it matters. It's how you feel from within, like, how confident you are, how you can present yourself, whether you're feeling good, from inside or no. So that's what I was saying in the beginning, right? Like, not just physically fit, but emotionally and mentally also stable. So this plays a really big role, in everyone's life, and especially how to manage stress, like whatever few techniques we've
True.
discussed. I think we should inculcate that in our daily routine life. Like, if not possible, at least alternate days, we can at least start from that.
Yes, that's so true, because I think it'll come as a holistic thing. So you'll have to work right for probably the rest of the month to make sure that
Yeah,
those 3 days are, not very irritating for you and not very stressful for
so
you.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So if you all have any questions, if you all want to ask us anything, and if you all have missed out on that right now, so you all can direct message us. Okay, you can follow Urvi as well, and feel free to always come to us regarding whatever questions you have, or if
Yeah.
you want to know specific asanas which are great, because in this like video we obviously couldn't cover the asanas, the techniques or something like that. So if you all want to know more about that, you all can message either Urvi or me, and we'll always be there to answer your queries. And thank you so much, Urvi, because this was one topic I really wanted to have, in these videos. And thank you for explaining everything so nicely.
Thank you so much for having me. It
And
was
thank you,
like a nice,
everyone. Yeah.
informative session. I hope everyone did learn something or the other.
Yes. If not, at least practice abdominal breathing, and it will sort a lot of your issues, trust me.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's so simple, just lying down and just do it.
Yeah. And it's a wonderful technique for insomnia as well. So just shifting a
Oh,
little
yeah.
from the topic. So if you feel that it's a problem sleeping, so you can just do that in the lying down posture, and you will fall asleep pretty quickly. So thank you, everyone who's been watching us. And it's time to say bye bye. And I will see you
Thank you,
guys
everyone.
tomorrow. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.